Okay, so here we go. The Mediterranean diet.
So be the change. And if you don't want to be the change, you're not ready to be the change, then stop complaining.
Anyone ever play Minecraft? The little villagers. No? Oh, okay. Whatever. Your loss. Hi. Hello. Hi. So hi. It is Allie Banks. We are here again with Be the Change or Stop Complaining, your weekly dose of health podcast. And today we are talking about the Mediterranean diet. I'm really tired, and when I'm really tired, I get a little bit of my no talk mouth. Recall the whole MS story way back when. So I apologize if I get a little bit mouth, but I'm gonna try my best to pronounce, and we're gonna get through this together, guys, together. Okay, so here we go. The Mediterranean diet. Let me give you a little bit of background, okay? A little bit, just a little bit. So the Mediterranean Sea region, I think, or in my mind, what I thought that meant was like Italy and Greece. That was about it. Turns out, guys, there's like 22 countries. No, not like 22. There is exactly 22 countries that compose the Mediterranean Sea region. It is the largest of the semi-enclosed European seas. Interesting. Like 480 million people live in the Mediterranean Sea region. And the Mediterranean Sea region also composes three continents compose it. Asia, Africa, and Europe. So it's 3 whole continents, 22 countries. It's the world's busiest shipping routes. About 1/3 of the world's total merchant shipping crosses the sea every year. It's so interesting, the Mediterranean Sea region. And I'm going to tell you all of the countries that compose the Mediterranean Sea region, and I'm going to try to say them really fast so we can move on, okay? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Albania, Algeria, Bosnia, Herzegovina. I don't know. Croatia, Cyprus, Egypt, France, Greece, Israel, Italy, Lebanon, Libya, Malta, Monaco, Montenegro, Morocco, Slovenia, Spain, Syria, Tunisia, and Turkey. That's the Mediterranean Sea region. So there have been a ton of studies on the Mediterranean diet. Here's the thing though, with the Mediterranean diet. So like I said, there's 22 countries, right? Every single one of those countries, well, yeah, for the most part, every single one of those countries has a different culture, right? It's a very culturally diverse region. So there isn't a one size fits all when it comes to the Mediterranean diet. You can't really follow a formula with it. There's guidelines for sure, but it's not as black and white as some of the other diets that we've talked about. Information, here we go. Sorry, Okay, so there's been a ton of studies, right, on the Mediterranean diet. And here are some of the things that they concluded. I'm not going to get into all of it, but here we go. They did this one study where they did the Mediterranean diet by itself, and then they did the Mediterranean diet plus extra olive oil, and then they did the Mediterranean diet plus extra nuts. And they tried to compare the health benefits of each of them. And they found that the Mediterranean diet that was supplemented with the additional nuts may help reverse metabolic syndrome. What's metabolic syndrome? Metabolic syndrome is kind of like a cluster of conditions that typically occur together. So that could be like increased blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess body fat, like near and around the waist, high cholesterol, high triglyceride levels. So like these conditions that if they occur together, increase your risk of like heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, things like that. So, Mediterranean diet supplemented with additional nuts may help reverse metabolic syndrome. So interesting. They also saw that people who followed the Mediterranean diet experienced reductions in oxidized LDL cholesterol, which all that means is people who followed the diet had lower levels of bad cholesterol in their bodies, along with improvements in several other heart disease risk factors. If you can't tell, I am completely entirely citing healthline.com. Okay. The next thing that they discovered, a Mediterranean diet without calorie restriction appears to prevent the development of type 2 diabetes. So you know how when we talk about diets, we talk about also like caloric deficits and caloric surpluses and things like that, and how, when you're in a deficit, you will lose weight. When you're in a surplus, you will gain weight. Not necessarily bad weight, but weight. So without calorie restriction, which just means they weren't tracking their shit on MyFitnessPal. They weren't trying to adhere to a certain calorie level. They were just eating the foods that are quote unquote approved for the Mediterranean diet. And they were still seeing that appears to prevent the development of type 2 diabetes. Also, compared with a low-fat diet, the Mediterranean diet appears to improve various risk factors for heart disease. So that's cool compared to a low-fat diet. Why? I don't know, but the studies say so. So we're gonna go with it. I think probably the reason that they say compared with a low-fat diet, the reason why a low-fat diet improves your risk for heart disease is because saturated fat versus unsaturated fat. Typically we eat saturated fat because it's easier to come by. Cheese is really high in saturated fat. General like dairy products are saturated. Unsaturated fats are like oils and shit. It's harder to get unsaturated fat. So when you eat a low-fat diet, in theory, you're eating less saturated fat, which means in theory it's better for your heart. However, while a low-fat diet is good for you, it turns out a Mediterranean diet is still better than a low-fat diet, which kind of just further proves that the Mediterranean diet is extremely beneficial for health reasons, besides like weight loss. Also, a low-carb Mediterranean diet may delay or prevent the need for drug therapy in people who are newly diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. The whole thing with type 2 diabetes is that you have lower insulin levels because your body has used up its insulin to break down sugars, glycogen, right? Too much glycogen, which carbs are really high in glycogen, really high in sugar. So when you eat too much sugar, you overuse your insulin levels, and then your insulin levels go down, and then you get type 2 diabetes. In a nutshell, that was like the most basic, disrespectful way to explain type 2 diabetes. But I'm just going to keep going. Let's just roll right over that really quick. So when you eat a low carb diet, that in theory should already help with type 2 diabetes. But then when you use a low carb diet that is a Mediterranean diet, a low carb Mediterranean diet, that could delay or prevent the need for insulin shots because you're not really eating a ton of sugar. Well, and you'll see when we talk about what is quote unquote allowed in the Mediterranean diet, you'll see that they're very low in sugar. They don't eat sweets really. The Mediterranean diet is based on the traditional foods that people used to eat in the Mediterranean Sea region, countries like Italy and Greece, right? Back in like the 60s. This is like typically the diet of the people in the 60s. Like I said, there isn't one way to do the Mediterranean diet because of the cultural diversity. Pronounce your words, Allie. But here are the guidelines, okay? The basic guidelines. So vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, legumes, potatoes, whole grains, breads, herbs, spices, fish, seafood, extra virgin olive oil. So eat those things. Eat in moderation poultry, eggs, cheese, and yogurt. Eat only very rarely red meat. Do not eat sugar-sweetened beverages, added sugars, processed meat. Processed meat is like salami, like that kind of meat. Ew. Refined grains, don't eat those. Refined oils, don't eat those. Or other highly processed foods, don't eat them. When you are talking about vegetables, let's hang out around the tomatoes and the broccoli and the kale and the spinach and the onions and the cauliflower, carrots, the Brussels sprouts, the cucumbers, etc., etc. When you're talking about the fruits, let's hang out with the apples and the bananas I hear the oranges go hard. That was a terrible joke. Pears, strawberries, grapes, dates, figs, melons, peaches, etc. Nuts and seeds, almonds, walnuts, macadamia nuts, hazelnuts, cashews, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. Legumes, those are like beans, peas, lentils, chickpeas, things like that. Tubers, I don't know if anyone else has never heard of this word, but tubers are like potatoes and sweet potatoes and turnips, yams, things like that. Thank you, healthline.com. Whole grains, don't mix this up with refined grains. Whole grains are whole oats, brown rice, rye is a whole grain, barley is a whole grain, corn, buckwheat, whole grain bread, whole grain pasta. Look for those key words. Okay, yeah, they're probably coming in packages because grocery stores, United States, but look at the package, look at the ingredients list, look for those words like whole grains, 21 seed. If you've never heard of Dave's Killer Bread, where have you been? Okay, time to grow up. Dave's Killer's Bread is like the healthiest bread that you can find in the grocery store aisles. It's not the healthiest bread out there, but in the grocery store, Dave's Killer Bread is like very healthy for you. It has, it's minimally processed. So it's ideal for what we're trying to accomplish here. If you're even trying to accomplish this. Is anyone listening? Hello? Just kidding. Fish and seafood. So those are going to be like your salmon, sardines, trout, tuna, mackerel, shrimp, oysters. Where's my NOLA people at? We love our oysters, right? Clams, crab, mussels, etc. Poultry, that means chicken, but also duck and also turkey. Maybe there's more, I'm not sure. There's more than just chicken eggs that you can eat. I don't know where the fuck you're gonna find these, but you can also eat quail eggs and duck eggs. Now, would you want to? I wouldn't. But what's the fucking difference, honestly? I wonder how different those taste. Do you think they would taste all that different? Can anyone confirm? Has anyone had duck or quail eggs? Do they taste different than chicken eggs? I need to know. Somebody tell me. Thank you. And then dairy. You got cheese, yogurt, Greek yogurt, etc. But try to stay away from that, okay? It's really saturated. It's mostly saturated fat, so like let's not eat too much of that. You can, but just be careful because it's not really the best for you, okay? And then the definitely don't eat, on the Mediterranean diet at least, added sugar. That means candy, ice cream, table sugar, and others. Refined grains. So I told you, make sure you are differentiating between the refined grains and the unrefined grains, the whole grains, okay? Whole grains and refined grains, those are the two opposites. Stay away from refined grains. That's white bread. That's pasta made with refined wheat, which is going to be the white looking pastas, the very common pastas. I know it's sad. We all love our pasta and our bread. I get it. There's healthier options. And they taste good. They don't taste as good as the unhealthy shit. Are we surprised? Of course not. But if you're trying to like not have a heart attack, maybe can you just stay away from the refined grains, please? Thanks. Okay, trans fat is found in margarine and various other processed foods. Please check the ingredients, or not the ingredients labels, the nutrition facts. Please check the nutrition facts for trans fat. If it has trans fat, throw it at the wall and run the other direction. Don't eat trans fat. Don't do it. If you learn nothing else from this podcast, please don't eat trans fat. Thank you. Refined oils, don't eat them. Soybean oil, canola oil, cottonseed oil, those oils. The good oils are like avocado oil is good for you. It's decent, I guess. Extra virgin olive oil is also decent for you. I'd kind of just stick with those two. Coconut oil isn't terrible for you. There's been a lot of studies on coconut oil. It's pretty benign. It does have some saturated fat in it, but they've done some studies on like the health effects or whatever of coconut oil, and they have pretty much concluded like you can eat it in moderation. It's not good for you, but it's not bad for you. It's a very benign kind of food, but you can use it. So coconut oil, avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil. Let's stick with those ones, okay? Processed meat. That's like sausages and hot dogs and salami, like we talked about. Don't eat those. And highly processed foods. Anything labeled low fat or diet, or which looks like it was made in a factory, is highly processed. Don't eat it. Don't do it. Please, please, please don't eat it. Okay? So water should be your go-to beverage on the Mediterranean diet. Let's stick with water. You know what this also says though? It says that this diet also includes the diet also includes moderate amounts of red wine, around 1 glass per day. But I'm just saying, if you save up all of your 1 glasses per day for Saturday, that equals like 7 glasses of red wine on Saturday. Woo! It's a party. Okay. It also, Healthline, I love you, Healthline. It says it has asterisk. However, this is completely optional, and wine should be avoided by anyone with alcoholism or problems controlling their consumption. Asterisk. Thank you, Healthline. So yeah, if you're an alcoholic, forget I said anything about red wine, okay? Haha. Anyways, coffee and tea are also completely acceptable, but you should avoid sugar-sweetened beverages and fruit juices, which are very high in sugar. So here's my problem. I like cream in my coffee. That's all I put in my coffee. But I like flavored creams, which I'm sure are terribly unhealthy for me. But I also only drink a tablespoon of this creamer a day. So I think it's okay. Balance, you guys. Balance. Balance? Balance. I know I keep saying don't do this and do that and, you know, this is right and this is wrong and don't ever do. The only thing I'm going to tell you never do, don't eat trans fat. Okay? But like, guys, don't make your life unenjoyable. I know that I don't, my philosophy is not typical of my industry. My industry is going to tell you, you know, that they never eat this and they never eat that and they only do this and they only do that. It's bullshit, guys. Nobody is perfect. No one is perfect. Nobody's diet is perfect. I don't care what anybody fucking says. Everybody wants to cheat once in a while. Especially when you're like young too, you know? I mean, you got nothing to lose. For me, I am 120 pounds soaking wet and I'm 22 years old. I think I can get away with a tablespoon of coffee creamer in the morning. You know what I mean? It's just not that big a fucking deal. It's really not. If you want to eat, dude, my family, when I was growing up, my parents used to work out at this like MMA gym. They were in great shape. And we would eat super healthy during the week. And then every Friday night, we got fucking Papa John's pizza and Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Every Friday night. It was a time to be alive. And then I think my mom got on a new diet kick or something and we stopped doing that. I don't know. But it was great. It's fucking awesome. And we were all still, you know, incredibly healthy. It's just enjoy your life, but also keep your health in mind. I'm telling you the yeses and the nos for this diet, but I'm also telling you they're loose yeses and nos. Okay? If you want to eat some fucking ice cream, eat some fucking ice cream. Whatever. I've said this way too many times, but I'll say it one more time. Floating rock in space. Floating rock in space. Floating rock in space. Okay, it's not that big a deal. Nothing is. So do whatever the fuck you want, guys. But let's try to stay more on the healthy side most of the time. Okay. Anyway, so that's the Mediterranean diet. I went for a really long time today. Sorry about that. I'm going to stop. The link, we got another guest coming up after our food thing. But I need more of you. I want more of you. I want all of you. So hit me up. The link, linktr.ee/BTC fit. That is the link. Join Hi-Ho. Leave reviews on Apple Podcasts. If you use Spotify or any other podcast platform to listen, thank you so much for listening at all. Genuinely, seriously, thank you so much. I'm going to be an asshole though, and very politely request that if you do have an iPhone, please log into Apple Podcasts. I don't even think you need an account, and just could you just please find my podcast and leave a review, because Spotify doesn't let you leave reviews. But I really want to get more of these hotshot guests on, and in order to do that, I need a lot more reviews. So thank you for listening wherever you are listening. Thank you for hearing my voice in general. I genuinely appreciate it more than you know. Will you please log on to Apple Podcasts and also leave a review? Please. Okay. Did I say log on to Hi-Ho? Probably. Okay, I love you. Happy Tuesday, and I'll see you next week.